that's in a, I said at birth there, but yeah, that's at a full-term fetus, it says. Young adult, thymus has relatively shrunk, and then as we get older, it starts to shrink quite a lot. But we can reverse the shrinkage of the thymus just by taking zinc. Here's a study that showed that. There are other studies that showed the same thing. In fact, there's 2 studies. And that's just giving zinc in a diet. Just feed them extra zinc, and the thymus miraculously.
Was that actually reversed or slowed down?
That was reversed. Both those actually showed a reversal. I think they gave them, yes, in the first one they gave it to old mice, demonstrate reversal. And I think the second one they gave it to old mice as well, but perhaps I haven't got the papers here with me, so I'm not completely sure. So zinc is quite effective against that. Of course, I should say, once in one of those papers, I forget which one it was, I remember reading, as soon as they realised that zinc reversed the thymus shrinkage, they immediately said, oh, well, obviously that's not part of old age. It's just a deficiency of zinc. So as soon as a problem is understood in biology, it's not part of aging anymore. It's a bit like AI. Once people have got something working, it's no longer AI. AI is what you can't do, and aging is what we don't understand.
Can I ask you how much zinc somebody would take a day for that? Do you take it, it's reversed, they don't you take it again, or do you keep taking it every
day? No, you probably have to keep taking it. I can show you at the end how much I've got a slide at the end that shows you how much I'm taking, which would be based on some extrapolation of that. But the mice here were getting, as it says there, 22 milligrams per litre per day of zinc. And that would, now assuming a human drinks about a litre of water a day, or should do, that would mean that we should take about 22 milligrams of that order for a comparable. Here's another theory, the death clock. It's a bit like, this is a particular developmental thing. This was quite popular, I remember in the 70s. But the idea was we had a death hormone that just, like salmon, we just get killed. And Don Deckler was going to try and find out a way of stopping this death hormone being released by the pituitary. And that would solve all our problems. But of course, even evolutionary terms, it doesn't make any sense. And it only occurs in some animals, not all animals. And basically the idea is it happens in animals that make a large investment in reproduction in single spurts. And it's not that the animal is programmed to die, it's just that the resources diverted to reproduction end up leaving the animal dead. So salmon die after they spawn, just because they run out of energy. Plants often sort of, they shed their leaves. Well, they shed the leaves, they draw the nutrients back in, and they more extreme plants will do the same with the entire organism to produce seeds. Some cacti do the same thing. You've heard of like the century cacti, I think. Produces a flower once 100 years, then it dies. And I think it's the same thing happening now. But it's not applicable to humans. So here's another theory. I think this came up in the sort of mid-90s. And the idea there is that we need to transfer these methyl groups around. Transfer a methyl group, which is just carbon and 3 hydrogens. It's called methylation. It gets worse with age. Our ability to methylate things decreases. We use methylation for tagging, but DNA gets tagged sometimes to switch off various genes. It does respond to supplementation when you restore methylation levels, and it's mediated by a coenzyme, which we'll look at a bit later. Coenzymes, in fact, we all know. Now they're molecules that help enzymes to repeat a reaction. All processes are controlled by enzymes in our body. Enzymes themselves need molecules to help them to repeat reactions. And we can either get the coenzymes from 2 places. Either we can just absorb them from our diet, and when we do that, they're called vitamins, or we can synthesize them ourselves. Each coenzyme performs more or less the same function, but it would be used on the different molecules. So it might transfer a group X from one molecule to another. but the molecule itself being transferred to and from will be determined by the enzymes controlling the reaction. So you've got a many-to-many relationship between the coenzymes and the enzymes. So this makes things very, very complicated. In fact, the whole thing looks suspiciously modular. It's almost like an object-oriented programmer written our code. But it's not because there's an intelligent designer. It's because evolution will use one process again and again and again in different places. So like fur turns into feather and that sort of things. And that must have happened back before cells actually sort of evolved, because all cells use the same basic pathways here. The same coenzymes occur in all animals, from amoebas up to us, more or less. So presumably it happened back in the sort of the soup before cells actually came together. Here's an example. So, because I just mentioned STAM. So this is that will be a coenzyme. Here we're transferring methyl groups. This is homocysteine, methionine. Almost every step requires a coenzyme here. ATP is a coenzyme, so it gives up a phosphate group. Process. Here, a methyl group is being transferred from this unknown molecule X to form a methylated version.
Is that methylation as well?
That is methylation. Yes, this is methylation here, but it's just showing how the whole process needs to be fueled by this process, and it's dependent on coenzymes and various things. So back to this again. But what about all the other groups? The problem with the methylation theory of aging is that methyl groups don't underpin everything. There are other groups as well that get transferred from one molecule to another. So methylation can't be the answer to what aging is. It might be part of aging, but it can't be everything, because we've got lots of other groups as well. So we'll come back to that. So I think the best way of thinking about aging is to say we don't really understand how we age. We've got lots and lots of ideas. They give partial answers, partial causes, but no answer is in anywhere near complete in itself. Biology is very complex. And entropy is a measure of disorder, is a measure of what we don't know. If an object is hot, it's got a higher entropy. And that means, because we don't know where all the atoms are, they're vibrating around, it's a measure of our ignorance. Sometimes entropy is called negative. Information is described as neg-entropy for this reason. So I think we can say aging is a form of biological entropy. Once we understand it, we won't call it that. But at the moment, that's the best model we've got. And entropy can sort of loss of information. So using this, what does that tell us about aging? Well, true information loss is totally irreversible. If you lose information, by definition, you can never get it back. So that would suggest that as we age, we're losing information. So the only way of reversing that is to somehow supply the information from the outside. And that's obviously going to be very, very difficult. The sort of thing I would expect only advanced artificial intelligence to be able to solve. Our current therapies are what I would call information poor. You take a pill. Pills don't have information in them very much. Therapies don't supply information. They're like brute force approaches to the organism. So we can't reverse aging with the caveat this side of the singularity. So I think that means that talk of a war on aging is just hopeless, it's doomed. It's going to go the same way. Anyone remember President Nixon made a pledge in about 1970, war on cancer. And now we've still got cancer. In fact, cancer is a bigger killer now, I think, than it was then. Partly because we're living longer, but apart from some childhood cancers, survival times for cancers are not very much different than they used to be. We get diagnosed earlier, but generally speaking, it's still not a good prospect to have cancer. So that failed, and I think war on aging will fail for the same reason, because we're underestimating the complexity of biology. So this leads us to rejuvenation. So if we're accepting that